and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
I'm calling. Yeah, maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help it. All mine. Yeah, maybe I'm selfish. You're mine, ladies, and I can't. Maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help it. Yeah, no one, yeah, but me, yeah, baby. To my thick chicks down in Texas, all the way to New Orleans where the girls could catfish. And in LA, every chick's an actress. Hollywood status with the shaded glasses. To Detroit, yeah, the place that I rest, where the ladies got sis and lalas. And hot Atlanta, y'all, is one of the best, where they speak Southern slang and smoke la cess. And New York women
welcome in to hour 2 of RSVP.
You know, wait, you been over there?
RSVP.
All right.
With Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm great. A little sleepy, but great.
Oh, for real? Let's
Happy
turn up.
hump
It's
day.
hour 2. What's up?
It's hour 2.
Turn up.
We still have a lot to get into, really. We still have Fahima on the line. She's going to share a
I
story.
love Fahima.
But before she does, I want to get into a little bit more of Russell Simmons' comments about what he said. He also said that Me Too is a great movement. It's done a lot of great work for women. It's sensitized men in the way that they were not sensitized before, and I'm grateful for that. But he also said there's a gray area in the real world. Being pushy is different from pushing someone. It's very gray. Right? By the way, on the record is that I believe that's Drew's documentary, right? Jenny, I think, or maybe I have it in reverse, but on the record, it was on HBO, it might be on Max, which covered that in her time in the music industry. That's the documentary that we've referenced. Again, so the full episode is going to be aired this weekend in syndication, and Graham Bessinger reached out to the name accusers, according to the episode, and received responses from 4 of the 9 women, right? Drew Dixon, Sherry Shearer, Syl Abrams, and Jenny. All 4 said in written statements that they stood by their claims, as expected. Lumet wrote in her guest column that was in the Hollywood Reporter not too long ago that Russ allegedly forced her to have sex in 1991. Abrams was a former Def Jam assistant who allegedly had a prior sexual relationship with Simmons. She told the Hollywood Reporter that he raped her in 1994, an experience she detailed in a 2007 book without using real names. And Cher is a founding member of one of the first all-female hip-hop groups, Mercedes Ladies. And she said she came forward in a Los Angeles Times expose alleging that Simmons raped her in his office in 1983, but she said that she didn't come forward from fear of backlash from the hip-hop community. And Dixon, you know, she was an executive at Def Jam, and she was one of the women that came forward in the New York Times article initially regarding this. And yeah, we know that in November she also accused, so it was Drew that had the accusations against both Russ and L.A. Reid. So, I know Def Jam. I have friends that worked at Def Jam in the 90s and 2000s. It was a different type of environment, a fun environment for some, women included, but different, much more loose, young. It was the 90s. Fahima from D.C., let us hear your story.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. Russell Simmons did an interview on The Breakfast Club, I think in 2020, and he said the same thing. He never forced anyone that he was in a relationship with, and he took a lie detector test. So these are not new revelations from him. But anyway, I was a preceptor for this gentleman when he was in the master's program at Lincoln University, and he was very well connected. He started a nonprofit organization that Hillary Clinton came and donated to, and so he was doing a project on, and actually it was Isaiah Washington's project. He was going to do, he wanted to have this conversation around it with African Americans and Africans for this documentary film that Isaiah Washington did. So I invited my friend, who is a filmmaker, and I'm not going to mention her name. I'll DM it to you because she used to work at BET Jazz, and you might know her. I don't want to say it on the air. And I'm not going to mention his organization because people may know it as well.
Understood.
So anyway, I invited my friend, and we were talking about the project, and he was very impressed with her. He was doing this summer program, right? And so he contracted her to teach film to the kids. And so they were doing very well, and he was raving about, how well she worked with the kids and, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, one day, and she reported this to me, one day he invited her for a business meeting at maybe the Hilton, the Marriott, or whatever. Well, this mofo was planning to have sex with her. And when she found out, what his intention was, she went off and, gave her a peace of mind and left. But the thing is, no one would have expected him to do something he was like Cliff Huxtable. No one would have expected this guy to do something like this. He passed away, I found out last year. But, the thing is that people present one thing, and you don't know what kind of sinister behavior they engaged in.
That is true. That is facts. Like, anybody is capable of switching up for you. And, you just
and
hope.
I never told him that she told me, but then he just started bad-mouthing her to me. And I said, oh, really? I don't understand because you thought she was great at first. Well, he claimed he fired her, but she quit.
I mean, listen. We've seen it time and time again, and that is why it's tricky. And that is also why, in all honesty, and this is not about victims or anything like that or victims. This has nothing to do with any of the topics we're talking about. This is just in general. I am not a fan of people dating in the workplace.
Oh, of course not.
And the reason why is, obviously things can get complicated. When people's feelings get hurt, they can react badly, and it just complicates things. I like my stuff a little simpler than that. When we come forward, we're going to get into more about Russ, more about these other cases, more about life.
So is he just overdoing like yoga in Bali and just...
He's just out there hanging out. He's lost all his businesses. So he does yoga. He said he meditates for hours during the day. Hours. And, I guess wait until the statute of limitations rolls on by. Looks like he's going to have to wait a little while longer. But he did bring up an interesting point about that, and we'll get into that on the other side. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
From our heart to your heart. Happy holidays to you and the ones you love from KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, I forgot to send condolences out to the family of Norman Lear. He was an American TV writer, producer, responsible for our favorites, some of my personal favorites, All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Maude, One Day at a Time, Sanford and Son.
Talk about a walking history book.
Right.
101 in all of his faculties. I just saw him do an interview a few months ago.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. And then it was just weird the way that I found out because I didn't see it on TMZ or anything else. I saw somebody else post it, like just a picture. And I'm like, why are they posting this? He's still alive. And then I went and looked. I was like, oh, wait, no.
No, right?
What is this?
So sending lots of condolences and love and light to his family. And, go check out an episode of one of those great shows that he created. We can have a conversation on another day whether there are black writers that he took advantage of, because that is also the word on him. And inevitably, someone will bring that up. So let me just let you know, we're aware. We're just not going to get into it today because it's a conversation starter. Kendi in the chat says, I don't understand the story. Why would you believe someone is Cliff Huxtable? Cliff Huxtable isn't a real character.
You know what?
Kendi, you know that is a descriptor.
Listen, me and Kendi are on the same page because it's like living in LA. Like, why would you believe this stuff when you know it's make believe? Like, come on, stop playing with me. Let's be real.
Let's have real conversation.
What you see on TV is not the real LA. The real LA is right here on Crenshaw and Vernon. Okay, anything
right in the
above
studio.
anything above the 10 freeway is La La Land, honey.
But here's the thing. I think that you do LA a disservice by acting as if it is all make-believe and fantasy, because there are real people there and real businesses and real things happen in that make-believe circumstance.
And
So I think to dismiss it is a little.
And as an LA native,
tricky.
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree and stand on business. Okay,
You gonna stand on
when
business?
I say that this mess is fake, okay? And here's the thing. And real things happen, and I'm not saying it tongue in cheek, but there's some element. It's like, come on, like really, but at the same time, I think that what they put on TV also does LA a disservice, because people expect to come here, and it's not anything what they saw on TV, and then they get to Inglewood, honey.
Anything?
They listen above the 10 freeway, and then when they come to Inglewood and hang out and chill, it's like, wait a minute, this is not what we saw. So it's. I think I'm all about accurate, depictions with anything. And if something is too staged or too Hollywood or too something, let's get to the real.
Here's the thing, though. Are you in that comfortable with saying that also everyone's depiction or viewpoint of the same scenario is going to be different?
Sure.
If I look at something that's 10 feet away, I'm short, so how it looks to me,
stop playing with me,
is gonna be different. The world looks completely different when you
and
stand up on a ladder
I agree with all that
and look out at the world.
All
than
I'm
my
asking is
POV.
this: that we agree on the common theme that is some BS element living here.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay,
and if we can agree on that, cool.
We can agree on that,
and everything else is objective.
We can agree
and
on
subjective
that.
At the same time.
Yeah, it is. Forensic accountant says, well, if Roman Polanski can be rehabilitated,
that part.
enough to have won an Oscar in 2003, then surely Russell can be similarly forgiven, right?
Did he win an Oscar?
What was it, a special Oscar?
But how long was he gone? He was in France, right, or something?
He's been in there since the 70s.
Yeah, so same thing. And if he can do it to Bali, then yes. And I think I made this this point earlier in shows before. Allow and I'm not saying excuse, but if we're going to provide some of the same concessions for people that have done far worse, do it for some of these people too.
I mean, here's the reality that I've always asked, right? With cancel culture, where do you expect the people to go?
Bali.
When you cancel them.
The islands.
What if they don't have a passport? What if they can't get that visa signed?
You can go to the U.S. Virgin Islands, honey, and island hop, a la Jeffrey Epstein.
You can still be served there.
Listen, not if you get a boat and island hop. You can go right over to Tortola and be right in different jurisdiction and flee.
Do we Polanski won for Best Director for The Pianist.
Wow.
Okay, with Adrian Brody. You are correct.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Good call, forensic accountant. Well, listen.
See, that's why we have them. But see, and that's the thing.
I think,
stay away. But does Russell really have 40 years to stay away? He doesn't. He's got a good 25 left.
He's already 66.
Yeah.
I think, this is the thing. I think, one, Hollywood was a more forgiving place. I think American society as a whole, I think that Roman is an example of someone that has been polarizing since he left. And there are a lot of people that would like to see him taken down still, right?
Yes, the people that were, of age and can remember all of his works at the time.
But I also...
Because they were probably sensational for the 70s,
What do you do? Rosemary's Baby. He lost his wife. Sharon Tate was his fiance, so he lost his fiance and baby.
And that's not excusing it, but because I wasn't there in the times. I don't know. It's before my time.
What he's accused of is pretty bad.
So and you have to also think about how did somebody respond to what happened to Sharon Tate? You know what I'm saying? Not that it's an excuse, but what does that do to somebody's mind?
I mean,
how do you respond to that? Like, what happens to that person? So I think if any, not that I'm sympathetic at all, but I'm empathetic. But that would be a good case study on what happens and how people respond to trauma and things that happen to their spouses and their unborn children.
Fair point. So listen, Russ said that he wanted to point out that in the 1 year window during which the New York Adult Survivors Act allowed sexual abuse survivors, to file the claims. That's why we've seen this influx of claims. He hasn't been sued.
Very interesting point.
I don't know what it means. I mean, I know what he's implying, but I thought it was an interesting point too, because.
And here's my thing: if somebody has done something to me like that, I'm coming for blood, right? And if I'm gonna make a public claim like that and make an and say what it was,
those women had already sued him.
Okay, so I'm saying I would go all the way, and I wouldn't back down, and I wouldn't, just like Jada, I'm not about to make a threat. Oh, I'm suing. Where's the lawsuit, girl?
Facts.
Because you had enough time to file that lawsuit. That was a month ago. File it, girl.
But here's part two. Brother Bilal, I believe that was the gentleman's name, hasn't released that book either.
So what are we looking at here? You know what I'm saying? So it's all a scam.
Sounds like a settle.
It's that Hollywood sprinkle magic.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
And it's gone.
I'm going to give you a little bit of money for what you want because you feel like you've done wrong. You're going to sit down and be quiet and
live your life in Bali.
And keep those secrets to yourself.
For the Virgin Islands, however you want to do it.
I'm
telling you, the Virgin Islands is witness protection, but don't tell nobody I told you that.
Listen. He also spoke about, his recent altercation on social media with his daughters. Remember, Akoi leaked, is it Aoki or Akoi? I might be jacking her name up right now. Leaked that he was yelling at her in conversation, basically upset about her mother, and said that they just want him for money. They were having a tiff, but they said that he was coming at them very, aggressively.
Like a black daddy?
Listen.
Okay.
He said that he speaks to them behind Kimura's back almost every day, and that he still supports them, but it's tough, and that they've begun to receive different narratives, and it became difficult for him to manage the relationship with them. And that he said he's also still sending financial support to his daughters so that they can continue to live in Manhattan. Yeah. He said he often returns to the U.S. He was photographed at the City of Hope Spirit of Life Gala a few months ago and the Music Cares 2024 Person of the Year Gala. He said, I left because I spend so much time here. People assume that I really left and ran, even though I'm back in America all the time. So, again, the complete interview will drop this weekend on various outlets. So I'm sure that we'll be able to tap in and hear what else he had to say about that.
Energy never lies. You can tell when somebody's lying. You can tell when somebody's telling you the truth. And the court of public opinion is always going to form.
What do you think the court of public opinion is saying about Russ?
I don't know. I think we've kind of forgot about him because there's been so many other things that have happened, and because we live in a news cycle society now, we are so preoccupied with the downfall of Diddy that we forgot about poor little Russie. And again, it's some convolution there with him, sure. Like you said, he came around in the 90s when hip hop was what it was.
It's very different.
And I put a period on that right there because also I have to understand that as I have privileges as a man. So right. When I say things, it comes off a certain way from a man's, standpoint, not even with the caveat that I've been a victim too. So I understand that.
So you can understand the position and how they feel
both
and
sides.
see it from both sides.
But I also understand that as a man, I have privilege when it comes to, assault and things of this nature because it's usually men are the aggressors.
Right.
So I get it.
Shout out to Urban Spinster in the chat. She name dropped Eric Monti as the reference to what we were discussing as far as Norman Lear. So, peace be to Brother Monty. We can, again, that's a topic we can have at another time because I think it's an interesting conversation and a worthwhile one.
Yeah.
For sure. So with that, with Russ, we're going to wrap this topic up when we get back on the other side because we have more trending topics and headlines. Like I said, it's a lot to discuss
That is
tonight.
a lot. And
we haven't even got to Fitty yet.
Oh,
so.
He is hilarious. Let's go. I can't wait for that one.
All of that and more when we come forward. You are locked in.
Male cancer.
Oh, there's a call. Fa. I didn't see.
There's a call?
Yeah, it says Fa. I'm
Hello.
saying it wrong. Oh, it's Fahima. Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
again.
Fahima.
How you doing?
Yeah, just really quickly, I'm not even going to address the Huxtable thing, but Russell Simmons and his wife, that discourse they had, he was complaining and that his daughter was going to spend all of that money to go to college. He also said, and also Kimura said that he has no money. She was giving him money. So him saying that the family wanted him for money is poppycock because he don't have no money. And she exposed all of that in the conversation. And he was on his daughter saying, why are you spending all that money to go to Ivy League school? And I can send you the receipts. I'll DM them to you.
Okay. I remember the conversation because it was on with Aoki. She obviously went and graduated from Harvard. I think she graduated. Ming Lee graduated from NYU. And it was surrounding, he went to Ming's graduation. He did not go to Aoki's. And
yeah, but he was upset that they were spending all that money to go to Ivy League schools. And he did not, I don't know how he's claiming that they wanted him for money, because Kimura exposed that. And she said she was sick of it.
Well, she stole all allegedly. So, like,
and I was gonna say that would be the thing. And I don't know.
Like,
something
who's zooming who here? Like, that's what I really like. Can somebody just go on record and just bust it open and tell everything? Because I don't. I mean, I know that he doesn't have money that he used to have, but I don't buy for a second that he's broke. I don't buy that. Like,
well, he may be hiding his assets.
Oh,
to
you
avoid
come
lawsuits.
Fahima, you know he is. They all do. It's hiding his stash somewhere overseas or off an island. He ain't broke. He mad that he got to spend the money on he know how much an Ivy League education costs. So he's mad because he got to spend the money that he really ain't got on some stuff that really don't mean nothing at the end of the day.
No, but he didn't spend the money. He didn't pay for her to go to either of those kids to go to NYU or to Harvard. He was complaining that they were going to waste, quote unquote, waste money going to Ivy League schools. But anyway, that's all I wanted to share. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, we always appreciate your
Yes.
input because you always come through with the extra deep.
Where is he hiding the money?
Listen,
Where do that's the next Google search? Where do people hide the money that they?
the Cayman Islands, right?
Yeah, the Cayman is one of them. But
I don't think you can do the Swiss bank account.
Yeah, Cayman is the only place, but there's another place that we don't know about yet that people been knew about for the last 30 years.
It was cryptocurrency. Burn. No,
I
I'm
gotta.
just kidding.
There it was, but I gotta find where are they
When
hiding
we
this money?
come forward, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Selfish out, I want you to myself, I can't help it. All mine, yeah, maybe I'm selfish. You're mine, ladies, and I can't. Maybe I'm selfish. I want you to myself, I can't help it. Yeah, no one, but me, yeah, baby.
Now don't be trying to come around my girl acting like Mr. Friendly. And still the spotlight like Mr. Bentley. I spotted her like Spud McKenzie.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A Black Chicago teen has earned her doctorate at Arizona State University. 17-year-old Dorothy Tillman already has her high school diploma, her bachelor's, a double master's, and now her doctorate. She says her goal is to create a space for the sake of future generations. Tillman created the Dorothy Genius STEAM Leadership Institute. The group focuses on science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Eric Adams is getting the lowest approval rating for New York City mayor since Quinnipiac started polling voters in 1996. According to the poll, only 28% of voters approve of the job Adams is doing, down from 37% in February. New Yorkers' top concerns are affordable housing and crime, followed by immigration, homelessness, and inflation. As the FBI investigates the mayor's 2021 campaign, 22% of voters think he did something illegal, while another 30% believe he did something unethical. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer over 50 different custom window treatments, including faux wood blinds and shutters, all at prices less than retail. Plus, we'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Today, young adults face big questions about their future. How will you make your mark? Do you want to be part of something bigger than yourself? Are you ready to learn new skills and make new friendships? Perhaps you have a dream that you're ready to make real. So, how will you make a mark with your future? As you embark on a journey toward finding these answers, the military can serve as a resource for providing help, information, and opportunities. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
For some children, a single surgery can turn an untreated cleft into a smile for life. But at Smile Train, we understand that most children need a little extra care. They need medical, dental, and emotional resources to grow healthy and strong, to express themselves clearly, and to navigate all of life's challenges so that their smiles light up the room as brightly as possible. Visit smiletrain.org to learn how Smile Train is supporting the cleft community with lifelong smiles.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it. Together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Guess what? I just put my logo in my pool, guess what? I just made a porno in the booth, guess what? They be taking photos when I move, guess what? I still got control, though, how about you, guess what? I just put my logo in my pool, guess what? I just made a porno in the booth, guess what? They be taking photos when I move, guess what? I still got control, though, how about you, guess what? Race against your doubt, a lot of y'all ain't running fast enough. I can spot a fake before we even finish dapping up. Clapping when they win, but when I win, they never clap it up. Parents' marriage crumble, so I told my mama pack it up. Eat until I'm fat enough, rise again like Lazarus. They be thinking what I'm saying, tell me how you mad at us. Ooh, this is good as it's tempting not to wrap it up. I'm about to block you, cause that gon' have me acting up. Pass the blunt and laugh it up and celebrate my life. I want roses when I'm living, not just roses when I die. This ain't something I was given, had to take it, make it mine. Stay on offense, keep on winning, gotta make it, take it mine. I got many checks, I'm swimming in it. Henny sex be hitting different. Heavy chest when Nipsey didn't. Make it through, give me a minute. Damn. Only thinking vertical. Run the marathon from top to bottom, roll some personals. McLaren's a convertible. My Porsche's name is Percival. I studied this inside out, but I am not reversible. Living way too purposeful. My values ain't coercible. You made a hit, but you probably still not reimbursable. Money every Friday, indie catalog, I'm versatile. My throwaways are hits for you. One day I might be merciful. Shooting for the stars, I never hesitate, I'm versatile. Y'all be with the common folk, I'm at the private terminal. Guess what? Yeah, I just put my logo.
Welcome back in. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking Russell Simmons. We're talking 90s hip-hop culture. We're talking civil suits. But before we get into all of that, Andy, I have no clue who that was, but I like it. So, you know.
You know what? I didn't even pay attention because I was too busy Googling where the Vanuatu was so I can see how long it take to get there and how long, what I needed to.
Who was it?
That's Russ.
Okay.
Featuring Rick Ross. Guess what?
All right. Russ, like, as in Russ, you set your price to buy my music? No, that's Lil Russell, right?
Just Russ.
Okay, just Russ. All right. Okay.
I don't know what nationality he is. I don't know if he black. He this light skin, high yellow cat, long hair, but got bars.
Okay.
Sebastian.
All right. I'm not mad at that. That song was vibe, right? Logo in my pool on the wall. Shout out to Ray J. So listen, Kendi in the chat said, and this is in response to Fahima's call, he said, what I meant was the caller acted offended that a grown man was interested in a woman romantically. Shouldn't be that much of a surprise since you're both grown. For example, I recently had a discussion with a parent who was surprised that her child and her child's boyfriend were intimate. There's no reason that should surprise you. And if it does surprise you, it says more about your naivety. All right, we're having a bad night.
It's all good. We know what you're talking about.
It says more about you being naive. Let's just do that.
Naivete.
Naivete. Thank you, because I'm having a night. A moment. Than it does for anything in his opinion. Forensic accountant says if she thinks Russell has no money, she may want to consider hiring a forensic accountant.
And before we got that comment, I was like, I need to ask forensic accountant where they hide the money because I know it's someplace off the radar that most civilians don't know because why will we know that when we've only got $100,000 in the bank, or whatever?
Vanuatu, what is it?
Vanuatu. It's in the middle of the South Pacific near Fiji. It's a 22-hour flight for $800. and the State Department. They established relations with them in 1986. Mm-hmm.
And how much money are you allowed to transport there? Cash,
I didn't
digital?
get that far yet, but I'm pretty sure I can go there with a hefty bag and escape.
You planning to be off the grid at some point?
Oh, absolutely.
But you just gave everybody your plan.
As soon as I get in the bag, honey, just because I tell you the plan don't mean I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to have to switch up.
Okay, I know that's right.
As soon as I get the bag, baby, I'm out.
Out.
Something that
bag,
OJ should have did. Yeah, be out.
Listen, stop mentioning OJ
I love
and
OJ.
being out. Okay? Don't do that. Terry says they hide money in Ireland, Panama, Switzerland, Liechtenstein,
See,
the
Terry,
island of Man.
Do you see what Terry just said?
Near Ireland, Iceland, Britain, Scotland, and UK.
Do you see what Terry? I can't. I've been barred from saying it. I can't say it, so you can read the comment.
Okay, I'm going down.
The last one. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know where to hide your money. O.J. Simpson, Mitt Romney.
See, they get it. They understand. The people know.
Terry also said there are probably other countries, but I don't know what their names are. Some of them are in the Caribbean.
Anguilla.
You've researched this, I see.
Oh, I've been to Anguilla before.
No, it's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about places you can move around money undetected.
Yeah, I mean, I think any strategic person who
should know how to move around money.
Anticipates, got to call it in. You know, I anticipate on having large sums of money. I anticipate on being wealthy.
Me too, but I don't anticipate taking it to the.
Well, how you gonna keep it when people try to come for it? Because Biggie Smalls has already told us in '98 it's always an intricate plot to stick you for your paper. So you got to be smarter. And when you strategize, you hide it before they try to get it, so you don't have none. Like right now, I ain't got no money.
Real estate.
Realistically, I don't have any money, but I got some somewhere. It's in Tortula.
Well, Kendrick said he's rich in spirit. You
that
rich
too.
on paper?
No, I'm more rich in spirit than I am on paper. On paper, it's a little tricky.
Okay, I'm saying it backwards then.
Yeah, it's a little tricky on
You got
paper.
it
It's like,
down.
wait a minute, wait, what? Who is this? What is he? He want a loan from us? Nah.
Well, listen, since all of, this stuff has revealed itself. Well, I want to mention this first because I thought this was interesting. There's that big YSL trial that's happening down in Atlanta, obviously. RICO charges.
Is
all
this the
of
one
that.
where he gave the acronym for Thug?
Young Thug, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So here's the thing. There was some video. There's not supposed to be any video or cell phones in the courtroom. But someone recorded some video of the courtroom, right? Took them 10 months to put this jury together, right? And someone posted video that shows some of the jurors, and people on social media already started identifying some of the people that they saw that were on the jury. Obviously, this is a RICO trial, and they're accused of some pretty deep things. So it's not a stretch as to why they would potentially want to keep the jurors' faces at this time out of the media. How do you go around that? Things like that likely make people not want to be involved in doing their civic duty.
You know what you do? You disappear and you throw the whole trial.
And mess it all up?
And flee to Bali.
That's the answer. That's tonight's plan.
Yes, absolutely.
Get
because
it
it's the
into Bali.
smartest thing. It's the most sensible thing that I've heard out of all of this. You think I'm somebody coming after me and I'm just about to sit around and be burned by the stakes? I'm out. Bye.
I'll be back. Not everybody has Bali money, although it's relatively inexpensive.
Child, you could flee to Detroit and nobody will find you.
Could you though?
You can flee to Arizona. No one is coming to the desert to look for you.
You think?
Oh, I've done it before.
When we come forward, we'll get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate you. Thank you for turning us on this year. Happy holidays.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus! Celebrate Southern California's health equity heroes at California Black Health Network's 40th anniversary event at Hotel Indigo's 18 Social, Thursday, December 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. Join us as we celebrate 40 years of advancing health equity for Black Californians and honor local organizations like Black Women for Wellness, the California Black Women's Health Project, Riverside County PEI, and the African American Infant and Maternal Mortality Project, December 7th. Buy your tickets now at cablackhealthnetwork.org.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, you know Spotify, right? You're familiar with them.
Oh, I'm very familiar with Spotify. Shout out to Spotify, the downtown LA studios. They're great.
So they have let go of roughly 17% of their staff.
Oh, I believe it.
Which is about 1,500 jobs.
They started that last year around this
the
time.
Company.
Matter of fact, they do that every year around this time. They've been doing it for the last couple of years. They started with the podcast last year and slashing stuff around town. Yeah. Wow.
So what they're saying is that economic growth has slowed dramatically and capital has become more expensive. Mm-hmm. So to your point, this is the third round of cutbacks that Spotify has had.
Yes.
This year, including they dismissed about 800 employees in January and June combined.
I don't feel bad no more.
So obviously their streaming platform, and they said that it will be paying their employees 5 months of severance as well as paying out their unused PTO.
That's honorable.
And they also plan to work with those who have immigration status that is tied up to their job.
That's also honorable.
So, and they're going to provide career support as needed. But I mean, you just let go of over 2,000 people in the time span of a year.
And see, that's the thing. They should, but a lot of these companies don't.
Right.
And it's far worse. And it's when I say that, trust me, it's admirable. And just speaking on record as somebody who's done business with Spotify, it's the right thing to do. And it's the nice thing to do, because again, there are other companies that will just cut you off and be like, girl, have a good one. Hope you saved your money and did the right thing.
But I think, to your point, I think this era, you have to kind of do the nice things, because word of mouth is bigger than ever. Bad press can kill some companies, especially a company like Spotify that has been accused before of, taking, especially if we're talking about Black and brown people, their work, their concepts, or what have you, and, not necessarily paying proper compensation or fair compensation, depending upon who you ask, or giving credit. So,
it's the nice thing to do over at Spotify. And I'm not trying to think of the right thing. I literally just lost my train of thought. But again, I think it's a cleanup campaign in a sense that, because their royalty rate is so low and the threshold is so low for certain artists, that they kind of have to do something to balance it out. So it's nice to see that they actually give some of that money directly back to their employees and the people that make the machine move.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. So, there's been a lot of talk about NIL and the big dollars that are going to some students from that, right? Name, image, and likeness, college students, high school students. Well, the NCAA president, Charlie Baker, he has presented a new proposal for a new tier of Division I sports for the schools. And the schools with the most resources, they will, in turn, pay student athletes directly through a trust fund, right? And instead of getting NIL deals from here, here, and here, they'll facilitate them all through the school, and plus receive their educational benefits. This way, it's meant to address the disparity between the wealthiest athletic programs and all of the rest, so that there is more parity, I suppose, and also to create some better balance, they said, between male and female athletes. Isn't the point of NIL a free market system? And why can you figure out a trust or how to pay them now, when for years it was being requested of the colleges and they're like, we ain't got it and it's not right?
Yeah, so
tricky.
It's isn't it? I said that earlier. It's always a scam.
And tonight's theme, scam.
So it's like, okay, you're keeping this account in trust and escrow, whatever it is, and it's like, who's facilitating this and who's getting a commission off of this and on the back end? So that's the issue with it. Sure, I love equality between men and women, and I really love this for the other schools, the HBCUs that have stars that play or whatever, stuff like that. But who is going to be the accountability person for all this?
Listen, it's a great question. I suppose the trustees and the boards that have been messing it up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I forgot to do earlier in all of this discussion with Diddy? I forgot to read the statement that he released on his Instagram
Did we
page.
talk about Diddy already, or we was talking about
We
Russie?
were talking about Russ. We mentioned Diddy a little bit in the 90s. We didn't really get into the weeds about this next case.
Yeah,
which we
every
will.
other day. It's just something with that one.
Well, okay, so here's the thing that is interesting, right? Which might as well put it on the table now.
He should just be quiet and not say anything, because I saw that statement. I was like, really, Sean?
Well, that's not what I'm going to say. This second lawsuit, and also one of the others, but not related to him, they're all brought about by the same attorney.
My responses to that: who's zooming who?
And
two sides to that is this,
right?
So we've got a Glory Allred situation, right? Okay, where we just, and I can't even say that because he's not even doing like, press conferences or anything. He's going just straight in.
Right.
So,
but this is his area of expertise. They
yes.
have several cases that they have handled like this, high profile, different industry, but yeah.
And two, you have to also think about this now because he's an attorney and he has inside knowledge to some of these other cases. It's in slam dunk for the other ones because he's got info on the back end.
Right.
That
so
can all be tied and stringed up together. That's how they stitch you up. So, yeah.
That is a great point. I mean, listen, they said the floodgates will be. The thing is, they even hinted when they were talking about Cassie's case, they're like, hopefully more brave survivors will come forward.
Yeah, just like they said, it was already blood in the water, but
what I'm saying is him saying that, them negotiating.
It was a setup for what was to come.
They can say, oh, this just came up, but that's a nice little legal brief for you to turn around, research, and be assured of, and get that in the proper time frame.
Listen, I sat down and read that whole thing.
Which, Cassie's?
Baby.
Yeah.
And what is now coming out is that it was actually longer before. It was 60 pages, and it's only down to like 35 or 37 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a whole 30 pages that we didn't see before the thing got filed and made public.
I mean, I would imagine
a scandal.
I would imagine so.
And when you read it, it's like, wait a minute. What? Wait. Okay. Wow. Because you start reading it, and then you could picture it, and it's like, wait a minute. Yeah. All right, man. All right. Oh.
Listen, this is what he said. Excuse me. Enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I have sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and the truth. Of course, people are asking why you didn't fight for all of that with Cassie. But I feel like 10-year relationship, he probably felt like, she deserved at least some of it.
That statement, it sounds very remnant of a statement that another person that was eventually found guilty made.
Aubrey O'Day said he sounded just from bar for bar like R. Kelly.
I was about to say like Robert Kelly.
That's
when he got up in Gayle King's face, he said the same thing. One thing I've learned about going through controversy in legal situations is that it's better to be quiet. And I learned that kind of the hard way, but it's better to be quiet while stuff is going on because, again, take it to trial. It's always going to come out in the trial.
If you start speaking too early, you give them
too much ammunition.
Yeah,
just
ways
be quiet.
To figure it out.
Yeah, don't let them figure you out and let it come out in the wash because in lawsuits, we've got a couple of things. We've got a person that lies and just makes up a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and then we have a person that tells the entire truth. And when you have the truth and you're telling all of it, and you got nothing to lose but to tell the truth because it's hard. You can't refute that.
The thing that was interesting, and we'll talk about this on the other side, but this latest accuser included some photos of her in the studio with Diddy in New York, sitting on Diddy's lap, all of these things. She claimed she was 17 years old at the time, from Detroit, made her way, courtesy of them, to New York. People probably have photographs. Again, not discounting this woman, but I don't know. Obviously, the burden of proof is lower on a civil suit, but it's just an interesting time that we're in. When we come forward, we're going to have more on these lawsuits, more on the hedonistic 90s. They should have stopped. They should have sat down and just ate their food. Courtesy of New York.
They're doing it now.
Man. And then some. All of that and more, you're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
So you never want a problem, just a legend how I move. Head rush, me and Russ coming like we dread Snoop. 6'4" Impala, just the way we play with Lou. Big bank baller in a paint, I'm known as Shoe. Dolce & Gabbana of Versace be the move. It's no love for haters. So far from neighbors.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A Black Chicago teen has